All right, so this workshop that we are doing is about Take Action SC. There are some really cool resources that we have available for us out of the Department of Health and Environmental
Yep,
Control, DHEC.
that's exactly right.
Yes, and so today we have with us a couple of the educator coordinators, Angie Perry and Amanda Edwards, to tell us about some of the resources that we should be utilizing as homeschoolers. So I'm going to turn it over to them and let them introduce themselves and tell us all about what they've got.
Thanks, Kim, and I'll get us started. Just to tell you a little bit about Take Action SC, I'm going to take us way back to 1993 when this program started with DHEC. So we are created through the South Carolina Solid Waste Policy and Management Act of 1991. And with the creation of that act became, our office, which we were charged with creating curriculum for elementary, middle, and high school levels. Our backbone of this entire program is this curriculum right here. Now, we have revised this over the years and continue to revise it about every 2 to 3 years. But basically, all of this evolved into Take Action SC Partnership. So this environmental education partnership now has many more key players in addition to SCDHEC, which also includes the University of South Carolina, the South Carolina Energy Office, Coastal Carolina University, as well as Palmetto Pride, which is our anti-litter agency. Through all of those partnerships, we are able to create programs, workshops, and of course this curriculum. So fast forward a little bit to last year. Let me just give you some background on kind of what we've done.
So I was going to tell you last year. So one of the things I want to tell you about the partnership too is that with that curriculum, we kind of take some of the lessons out of there, and we've established a program where we go into schools. And one of the things so special about two things really cool about the curriculum is that it is South Carolina specific information.
I love that about it.
And so we are tying in all these things from different counties. We have a great working relationship with all of our counties, and they give us information and we work back and forth. So a lot of that information obviously comes from the counties. Secondly, it's correlated to the South Carolina science standards. And with that being said, what we did is we looked at some of the basic information that we would give to everybody in any presentation that we were making, and seeing where that information kind of inspire people, get them active in trying to do something in their school or at their home. And it's a lesson that's called My Bag. And so we kind of took that on the road, so to speak, and we would go into 5th grade classes. Then we would take a composting lesson, and we would go into 7th grade classes. And then, of course, we go into high school environmental science classes. And so this is kind of last year what we were doing before COVID hit. And you can see here that we would go into, we reached 27,000 students by doing those presentations across the state. So we have a group of educators, and they kind of live strategically around the state of South Carolina so that they can build relationships and things like that with the different schools and, people like you throughout their territory.
Right.
Because
we also have co-op groups and resource centers where they could come in and do a lesson that way.
Yes, absolutely, they could. And we also, what you see up in the right-hand corner, 34 workshops in 2020, we also have an educator that, one of the things that when teachers wrote the curriculum way back, we were that smart to have teachers write the curriculum. So I think that's important to know. And that they suggested that, we don't just hand the curriculum out, because teachers have access to just curriculums that are mailed to them, but then what do they really know about that curriculum to actually use it and pull the best parts out of it to teach their students? So we have a workshop that's, of course, no charge, as all of these programs are no charge, for teachers, that we go into their entire faculty and staff at their school or a district, or like we're hoping to do for you in August. And we do workshops for teachers. And then what they receive from that is really hands-on information, how to take this and incorporate it in their class and really help meet that standard the best that it can be met. And so in 2020, before COVID hit, we had done 34 of those workshops, and we had been in almost 300 schools. And what the 61% increase is what we like to do is kind of track how we're doing, how we're reaching the students, what they know. Then, of course, we can change what we're teaching every time we go out again, but that's just a little pre-test, post-test that we give at the beginning and the end to see how much gain of knowledge they've had after our presentation. So you can imagine this was a very successful year, you can see, and that was before COVID hit, which this cut off in March, I guess, March 16th, as we all remember. And then this year, so far, we, of course, obviously schools weren't having visitors in there. And we started making a lot of videos. We started really, instead of just doing 5th grade and 7th grade and high school environmental science classes, and we did some actual, I didn't mention this, but we actually did some driver's ed classes, because that's such an important group, as all high school students are, because they're getting ready to drive, or they may have started driving, and recycling used oil is very important to teach students, especially it seems like the more rural area you live in, habits that's been created over the previous years with families and things that grandparents did of dumping it on the ground. Yeah. And that's a really important information. Of course, that's also in all of our high school lessons, but we kind of targeted that group for a while. And I don't know, with you being homeschooling, you may not know this, but a lot of the driver's ed classes are kind of fading away because of insurance and different things, but we did do that too. But this is a total look at what we started doing this year. We created presentations for every grade level. So we were, instead of just doing 5th grade, and you're probably thinking, well, why on earth didn't you do that before? Well, we only have a certain budget. And so by the time you put so many people on the road, educators on the road, and paying their mileage and paying all those expenses of traveling to all these schools, 5th and 7th and high school is all we could afford. So now with this, we feel good about what we've done this year. And really, we are over what we did last year with almost 32,000 students that we've been in front of and a few of those are actually in-person presentations that schools that have let us come in. But we have reached a lot of students. We've had such a great response from teachers and students liking the presentation that we're doing and how much they're learning.
Yes, we just did it with our homeschool group, and they loved it. The kids went out and they were inspired to go pick up trash in their neighborhood. So it's well worth it to schedule, even a student workshop.
Yeah. And you see here too, we also have done teacher workshops. And what's really been a neat thing about that is we also do, this is just kind of like an FYI thing, because it might be if you had a college in your town that you're homeschooled in, we do a lot of colleges for the teacher workshop, because they are, have a program. Most colleges have a program where you can learn how to become a teacher. In the semester that they're getting ready to go into their student teaching, then we've built relationships with those colleges to come in, and they get to attend this workshop. So they kind of get to show up at their student teaching job with a cool curriculum, show their teacher how they can incorporate that and help meet those science standards with her students. And so we've been really successful at that. And I guess one positive, I mean, I think we all have found positives in COVID, but I think one positive that's helped with the college is a lot of those universities, the really small ones, like say Limestone, or some of these really small schools that only have 8 or 9, teachers, student teachers. In the past, we really wanted 20 people in a workshop. And so now with this, how we've converted our presentation to virtual, we can do those 9 students and then we mail them the curriculum. So that is probably how that will probably work for you in August, I would think. And that really helps to reach more people that way. But that's
Right.
kind of just gives you
We have a better chance of getting enough people when it's virtual, and when they have to drive from every corner of the state, that makes it a little harder for us.
Yeah,
to get
I
in person.
understand that. But that kind of gives you an idea that we are taking that curriculum, taking those lessons, and now with COVID and us doing virtual, we're actually hitting on more lessons in that curriculum, which makes me super happy because it really lets the teachers that are just watching the presentation realize how cool the curriculum is and how much it has to offer. But we're doing more presentations, and those workshops are a big part of what we do. So
Right.
that just kind of gives you a summary of what we're doing so that
Yeah.
you can take advantage of that.
Yeah, the curriculum is all practical, actionable. I mean, that's the whole point of it, that it's take action. It's something to make you want to do something and, apply it. And so I've been through the teacher training a couple of times. I can't say enough good things about it.
Oh,
It's
that's great.
wonderful.
Yeah, and what you were saying, Kim, the take action part is exactly right. We want to provide something for the educators to not only have the background, but also have activities and lessons that they can actually do hands-on and then take it and apply it to life so that they can continue on with these behaviors. I'm going to walk you through one of the lessons. So as Angie mentioned, these were originally piloted through teachers and have evolved over the years. We also work with the Department of Education on aligning these to the science standards. But what you'll find in our curriculum, we are housed at the Office of Solid Waste Reduction and Recycling at DHEC, but you will see that our lessons cover so much more than just recycling. Of course, there's a heavy focus on waste reduction and recycling, but we also cover things like food waste reduction, composting, water quality, energy efficiency, natural resources. So really anything that you would consider environmental education. But let me walk you through one of the lessons, and then I'm going to cover a second one, but for a different highlight purpose. So for this one, this is the economics of recycling. And really what we're going to be looking at is the lesson itself, but all the pieces and parts that put it together. So in each lesson, we obviously have learning objectives. So what are the students going to learn, and kind of how are we going to get that across to them? We provide a background for each of the lessons. So whether you as an educator are versed in this or not, we provide plenty of background to help you learn as well.
That's right.
And then, of course, going through some of the other parts of this will include engage and explore, which are part of the 5E model, which is kind of what all of these lessons follow. You'll also see some blue E's throughout each of the lessons, which is really a change for this year or this past year when we revised this curriculum to include e-learning. Of course, shifting to a much more virtual world, this certainly applies now. And then each lesson, you'll notice, has a grade, several grade levels that they're aligned to through the science standards. But that doesn't mean that that's the only grades that these can be used for.
Right.
Just flipping through.
Homeschoolers are good at that. We don't care as much about
Yeah, you can modify and adapt
following
any
the state
lesson,
standards.
honestly.
Yeah, Right,
Yeah,
we adapt it.
and we use these for adults sometimes too, so they definitely can be adapted. But in the back of each lesson, we, instead of having to go find those science standards, we provide them for you with the alignment to the lesson. Now I'm going to jump forward to another one, which is our Get Current on Energy. And this one, of course, is provided through one of our partners with the South Carolina Energy Office. But here, same concept. You'll see those things I just pointed out, the learning objectives, the background, and then all of those 5 E's. But you'll also see through here, there's quite a few of those blue E's. And so also, like Angie mentioned, we were able to create some of our own videos with the help of COVID. So again, one positive from COVID, but I'm going to show you one of them just because these are a few of the resources that we provide. Let's see if it, and I'll fast forward through some of this.
Hello, everyone. The lesson that we're going to look at is called Get Current on Energy. This lesson
So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit.
And about conductors.
She's so fun.
Very
Such
much
a high energy. She gets you excited
definitely a
about it.
favorite.
Conductors
So as you can see, we did this video ourselves in-house, but we provide basically a demonstration of the activity that's in the lesson. So if you're doing it at home and want to follow along, or if it's something that you're wanting to show but maybe don't have all of the supplies, that's okay too. So she walks through everything that you need, and then also we'll go through exactly how to do the activities. Let's see if I can fast forward a little.
An option would.
There you go. And so you can see her timer's going, and what she has done for this particular one is we have the hot water in the bowl, and we're waiting to see which material is conducting energy. And so you'll see, obviously, the metal is going to win out in this competition. But it's just a fun little video, fun little activity that goes along with the energy lesson.
Ah.
And then sometimes we're able, through our partnerships, to provide some cool things to our summer workshop attendees, which last year was the first year we did virtual. We're doing that again this year. And like last year, we focused on this energy lesson, and each attendee got an energy stick from the energy office. So just kind of another way to show how energy is conducted.
Yep, I got one of those. It's so much
Very
fun.
cool. Isn't it fun? I don't love the noise it makes, but it's still fun. And then also in some of the lessons, there are printable activities that you can do as well. We provide those on our website. So while we don't provide a full digital copy of our curriculum because we provide it through our training program, but we do have the printable, downloadable forms that you can get from our website. And then, of course, last but not least, those science standards.
Always good information, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know, Kim, when you and I talked before, you were real excited about this program, and this is new for us this year.
Yes, something new.
And we really felt like the high school students had so much to offer as they go into college and start thinking on their own and not having parents there, and what a perfect age to really get them thinking about sustainability and how they're going to carry that or live that in their life. So, of course, as Amanda said earlier, the University of South Carolina is one of our partners in Take Action SC, and they have a fantastic sustainability program there. And they have such a unique thing that they work with their students in that they have like a K-12 outreach team. And so we have partnered with that K-12 outreach team to be the actual mentors of high school students. So we have, the way we did it this year, and we look forward to doing it next year, is we have like a big summit. We had it in October last year because of COVID, but we'll have it much earlier this year, where high school students can just sign up and come learn about the program. And what they do is they create their own program of sustainability and you can see some of the ideas here. Some of the ideas too that we've had, that one that was super, I think really did a great job this year as we're wrapping them up now, is 2 students out of J.L. Mann High School in Greenville. They did an art competition, and they created a website and pushed that information out to the entire state, had lots of participants, and they actually had like elementary, and it only went up to 12 years old. They were able to secure some prizes from donations for some companies themselves, and they were able to have their competition, and it got so many kids involved, and they ran the entire thing, and then they had a live unveiling of the winners, and we were all able to log on there as well as the participants and watch that. And I think the great thing is that they were just constantly having to problem solve different things that they ran into. And so I think too, the Carolina student that was assigned to them, which is the way we do it, 1 or 2 South Carolina students are assigned to the high school students, and they meet on their own schedule. I was super involved with their first meetings, and then they take it and they run with it. And the thing about this program that I love so much is we're not doing any of the work for them. We are providing them with the resources, and then it is up to them. But the South Carolina student, the high school students, of course, all look up to the University of South Carolina students, and they're able to share some of the things that they're doing at school. One of the great things too I like about the Sustaining program at South Carolina is it teaches like a project management 101 kind of course to those students. So they were able to take that project management skills and teach them to the high school students, how to stay on topic with your project, where to go get this, how to do that. And I think just communication and speaking, speaking to people, and or even like when they did their presentations, it was just all of that came together. And it was because they had all worked together so closely. So we'll be releasing the date of that summit this coming fall, probably at our summer workshop. There'll be some information. Hopefully our 2 stars of this program is going to do a small presentation this summer. And so, you'll get to kind of meet them. But they obviously were not just the 2 stars. We had tons of students that did well this year, and very excited about that program moving forward and having more projects coming up.
And one of my favorite things about this program is while we piloted this year, a couple of the groups were whole classes that did projects, and then some were small groups, like Angie mentioned, 2 students did a project together, but then we had a couple that were individuals as well. So this is a wide range of, how the projects can work from group all the way to individual.
Yeah,
and
that's what I was really going to mention. Yeah, how do we get a group of homeschoolers together if they can apply individually or buddy up with somebody, or even find 3 or 4 to make their own team? It would be perfect for homeschoolers.
We did have one do it as an individual, and she her big thing is journalism, and so she would write a sustainability newsletter and do her research, and it was about the school she was attending and what they could do better, or maybe what they were doing or whatever, and it's just turned out fantastic. But she worked alone, and then she had her South Carolina mentor. One of the other things we try to do is, and we're going to do more of this year, is teach the students avenues of sustainability in their own daily walk of life. And one of the cool things we did this past year was we gave them, if you participate in the program, we gave them a shirt made from recycled plastic bottles. And on the back of it, we said, my shirt was made from so many plastic bottles, 6, I think it was. And so they have all really enjoyed wearing those. And then they also received like a little straw kit that they could keep in their backpack or purse or whatever, so that when they were out, they could show that effort of sustainability to their friends, or have an extra straw to share, and kind of think about not using straws. It's something small, but yeah, it really helps them in their world push sustainability to their friends and things like that. So this program, I hope, is going to keep growing, and so we would love involvement in that. This is, have you seen these, Kim? I think you probably have.
Those are different ones than what I have. I have like a Vanna White one with the Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, so we have a whole series, and we are constantly adding new ones. So probably the newest one is obviously the social distancing one. No, I take that back. The social distancing one, and then I don't know if you can see behind me. Let me see if I can turn on the, see that back there?
Yeah.
So it's one about reducing food waste, but it's a play off of the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Yeah, so these are, digitally online. You could download these and then print them, and the kids could hang them in their rooms or whatever if they wanted to. But we have a great graphic designer on staff, and he creates our characters and gets them doing all kinds of crazy things that gets kids' attention. And so,
are they black and white with coloring sheet ones too? I feel like I've seen those before. Not always.
We do have coloring sheets and coloring fold out books that you can download and print, but the posters are usually already in color.
Okay.
So definitely, one of the things you see at the top of this is our takeactionsc.org website. And so we try to keep all of our information on there. Like, for example, we've touched on it a few minutes, but we have our summer workshop coming up. It is virtual. It's July 27th. And there's actually going to be where that'll be mostly all of our information with about the curriculum, lots of different hands-on presentations. We have a really cool artist that is going to be joining us, Kirkland Smith. Just Google her. You'll love what you see, but she does all this cool artwork made out of things that would have been going to the landfill, but she rescues it and makes this neat artwork.
That's open for all teachers across the state.
Absolutely.
Educators, teachers, and we also usually have a few of our local government recycling coordinators join us as well. So definitely open.
It's worth going. I go every year.
That's great. Thank you so much for the support. And so that Take Action SC website, you can go on there and register. It will be about from 9 to 12 on July 27th. Then the afternoon, there's going to be some energy education that afternoon and the next morning. You know, they can look at that. We'll have you a connection. That's going to be done by the energy office. So if they're looking for more information, they can get that. But yeah, we're really excited about that. One of the cool things I have to mention about the summer workshop is not only did, as you can attest to, we kept it hopping last year and it was just constant movement. And I don't think it ever got boring one time. At least this is what we're told. But we do mail this great educational toolkit home to the teachers after the workshop. And that is going to have some fabulous things in it this year. Of course, the curriculum. But we are also giving the teachers one of those shirts that's made from the recycled plastic bottles. And we're doing
that's why you'll see we're asking for your shirt size when you register.
And then we're also giving away this really cool shopping mat that's made from recycled plastic bottles this year to go along with their straw kit that they received last year. If they got to attend, you're going to get like a little silverware set that's made out of bamboo to keep in your pocketbook, so you don't have to keep getting the takeout silverware, and just some other good things that will be in there. And we're just looking forward to having a great group. I think we already have about 250 registered for that.
Yeah,
so we are
excited. Is there a limit at some point?
No, I I don't think we'll limit it just because it's virtual, and anyone can join. Of course, you have to register to get the link to join, and we do the registration partly also so we can get your shipping information to mail that toolkit to you.
Yep. Yeah, it's a good one. Well worth the price of admission. Right.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of the price of admission, Angie mentioned that our workshops, of course, our teacher and environmental educator workshops are always free when you're doing those, especially with Mary Margaret. We have done some over the years in a little bit different setting that did have a small fee, but usually those were kind of what we called our intensive workshops, because they, like one year it was overnight, and so we were able to provide housing and meals, and do workshops over about a day and a half. So sometimes we do provide different types of workshops, and maybe when we're fully back in person and doing those kinds of things, we'll get back to that. But for right now, this year, we're still going to do our virtual workshop.
Yep. Yeah.
So lots of opportunities. We can do presentations for all different age students. We've got the teacher workshops, we got the summer workshop, so got the student ambassador program. So hopefully all of your homeschoolers will find something that excites them and wants to take a part of.
Right. Some amazing resources. And I thank you so much for coming to tell us all about them. So,
Yeah.
Thank you.
all right.
Thanks
This
for
has been
having
fun. All right.